The following is a paid program.
Have done everything we promised, but we have fulfilled 90% of our manifesto promises of delivery. In 2010 and 2011, we worked hard to revitalize our country after the economic decline under the previous government. We then succeeded in achieving growth in 2012, 2013, 2014 and 2015. Even with the fall in the price of oil, we ensured we kept our economy on track by ensuring a continuing flow of investment from global companies like Shell, BP and Mitsubishi. Not only investment in our country, but more jobs too. We have created more than 57,000 new jobs in Trinidad and Tobago. In our second term, we'll continue to create more jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
That is the leadership she provides. That is why she can't tell none of them nothing. And all of them is alligator from the same murky lagoon.
Our unemployment rate is down to the lowest at 3%. This means that about 94% of our population labor force is gainfully employed.
Morning, Mr. Warner. It is the $10 million question at the centre of FIFA's global bribery scandal. The $10 million, where did it go? Cash promised by South Africa and sent to this man, former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner. Can you tell us where the $10 million went, Jack? Mr. Warner, where did the $10 million go to? Can you tell us one project, Mr. Warner? Can you tell us about one project that you spent the money on? Jack Warner doesn't want to talk about the missing millions.
We have delivered goods and services. We have implemented policies which have drastically improved the lives and lifestyles of all our citizens. And that is why we have done infrastructure, healthcare development, schools, roads, bridges, drains. And when we say we are giving laptops to children, did we pick out UNC? Top partnership we gave across the board to all the children. When you leave here, you will see the Cuba, the Children's Hospital, off the ground, ready to open, ready to commission, ready to go.
I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall very close to Liquor 2. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it.
I will stand and fight with everyone and anyone. I have no fear of them. None whatsoever. The only thing I fear is my God. The only thing I fear is my God and yours. But as long as we put God in front and walk behind, we have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear.
Seven minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Good evening to all my fans, all my friends, all my PNM supporters. Good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you all my Facebook fans and friends, and for those of you who wish to be part of Gladiator's Facebook fanship or whatever, support, you can send your requests and be part of the Gladiators fan club. Be part of it and know what's happening in the country. Read about all the issues taking place that the ordinary media does not want you to know about. So send your friend requests and join with Gladiator as we fight this fight all the way up to September the 7th. Send your requests. Now, I listened to my friend, Richard Norrie, my PNM friend, Richard Norrie. And he raised the issue about if a prime minister can govern this country for 2 days of the week. Well, let me say this to Richard Norrie. The issue is not 2 days a week that the prime minister is governing this country. What you did a while ago was express the opinion of one person, and that person was Gary Griffith. But if you had any doubts of his stewardship, I played a clip a while ago where the prime minister, unlike my party, unlike my PNM party, was discussing policies and issues. So to you, my friend Richard Norrie, the policies was raised on the platform by the incumbent, by the Prime Minister of the Republic, and I played those clips for you to know of what the Prime Minister was able to achieve within 5 years. And I wish to extend support to the gentleman who called and mentioned that the Prime Minister can govern this country from any part of the globe. From any part of the globe. You see, we are living in a modern world. And in this modern world, no one has to travel or put a letter attached to a bird, and the bird have to take some days for the other person to receive the letter or what have you. Communication is at a speed that the Prime Minister could be as far as in America and still give directions when it comes to governance of this country. But let me move on to the salient point that I come here to discuss, because there are so many issues that I wish to raise to the citizens of the Republic. I come back to the issue of Inspector Michael Seals. And I listened to the antics and the rhetoric of my PNM colleagues who are trying to spin doctor the whole issue with the comments, the reckless and irresponsible comments from Michael Seals, who happens to be an inspector and also an attorney at law. He might not be practicing before the courts of law, but he's an attorney at law. And Michael Seals is a respected, intelligent person. Michael Seals is not an ordinary police officer. He is not a corporal. He is not a sergeant, but he's an inspector. And according to the Police Service Regulation Act 2007, in section 131, an officer's whole time shall be at the disposal of the government. Let me repeat that part. Under section 131, an officer's whole time shall be at the disposal of the government. Citizens of the Republic, you would have noticed that the leader of the opposition, who like to rush to the media, have not been saying anything about that reckless statement by Michael Seals. But last night, the ILP scumbag, the ILP leader who has no credibility, was lending support to the comments, the reckless comments made by Michael Seals. And they tried to attach all types of conspiracy theories. Here it is. This country is before a general election. And there are competing parties. And the Police Service Social and Welfare Association ought to have known better than that via the comments of Michael Seals. I told you, citizens of the Republic, if you have the discerning ears, the comment of Michael Seals used the word provoke twice. Richard Norrie is aware of that the word provoke was used twice. The word concerted was used once. The word effort was used once. Here it is. This individual was suspended by the Commissioner of Police. And let me edify the listening public, because I always tell people, I'm a person, when I'm dealing with issues, I like to do my research. And according to Section 138, Richard Norrie, according to Section 138, Faris Alwari, according to Section 138, Rowley, it reads, an officer shall not, without the written permission of the Commissioner, broadcast on the radio, television, internet, or by any other means, or publish in any manner any statement which is in the nature of a personal comment on any national or local political or administrative matters, unless his official duties requires him to do so. That is law. Michael Seal cannot be a runaway horse. If you are negotiating on behalf of the police service and you are seeking their interests, you have to be responsible. You cannot be allowed to make reckless statements on national television violating the laws that governs the police service. You see, let's not beat around the bush. There are too many politicians at trade unions and associations who are using their position to incite membership to engage in wrongdoing. Here it is. On March the 23rd, the entire nation was in panic state. Richard Norrie was also part of that. And when I say part of it, he also was gridlocked because of the total policing. Total policing took place island-wide. Many people couldn't reach to work on time. And what we learned from this is that the police service can bring about anarchy in this country. Because what took place on March the 23rd was a type of anarchy. And here it is. This gentleman, Michael Seals, a very intelligent person. I do not know if he thinks that the general public are a bunch of fools. According to Section 139 of the Police Regulation Act 2007, an officer shall not make any public expression of political and sectarian opinion and shall bear himself with strict impartiality in all matters. According to Michael Seals, the fact is that the intelligence coming to us at the association, when you make a statement like that, Michael Seals, you have drawn a conclusion and you are saying that there's no further investigation with the intelligence, and you have come to the conclusion that the government is about to commit a criminal act. So Richard Norrie, Jack Warner, wants to accuse the government of attempting to commit a criminal act. How can you make a statement and expect to escape unscathed? The acting commissioner of police had no other choice but to invoke his powers. And according to Section 152 of the Police Service Regulation Act, when a report or allegation is received by the commissioner from which it appears that a police officer may have committed an offense, and the commissioner is of the opinion that the public interest or the repute of the service requires it, the commissioner may in writing direct the officer to cease to report for duty until further notice, and an officer so directed shall cease to perform the functions of his office immediately. Now, citizens, I don't want to give you what Gladiator said, because I told people, when I come on radio, I come with black and white, I come with facts. Whereas my PNM colleague, Richard Norrie, he had nothing to back up what he was saying. So here it is here. Let the listening audience listen for themselves what Inspector Michael Seals said on TV6. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The fact is that the intelligence coming to us at the association that there is a concerted effort to bring a situation about that we provoke the membership of the police service, so that membership would react outly. So let me say publicly, and I would appeal to the membership, please do not be duped into doing anything foolish, because the reason why we are saying that, we are hearing that there is a position that provoke the police so that we can call a state of emergency to delay the election. That is the intelligence.
That's a serious thing to be saying.
The association is saying so based on the information and the intelligence coming from its membership.
I want you to play that clip one more time, and when we come back, I have Barry Garcia in the studio. Play it one more time. Play it.
The fact is that the intelligence coming to us at the association that there is a concerted effort to bring a situation about that we provoke the membership of the police service, so that membership would react outly. So let me say publicly, and I would appeal to the membership, please do not be duped into doing anything foolish, because the reason why we are saying that, we are hearing that there is a position that provoke the police so that we can call a state of emergency to delay the election. That is the intelligence.
That's a serious thing to be saying.
The association is saying so based on the information and the intelligence coming from its membership.
No, tell me this. You are calling on the membership, do not be duped into doing anything foolish. Do not be duped into doing anything foolish. Are we to understand that there are criminals within the police service who want to overthrow the government? Let me say good evening to Barry Garcia. Good evening to you, Barry Garcia.
Good evening to you, Ricardo Gladiator.
Bring the mic up to you.
Good evening to Trinidad and Tobago.
Let me test this thing here to make sure everything is in order.
Yes.
Good evening to
Very nice.
Good evening to you, Mr. Gladiator.
Yeah.
Ricardo, my colleague from Woodford Square.
Of course, the University of Woodford Square.
Dr. Carlos, as we call you in Woodford Square.
Yeah.
And good evening to Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean, listening audience of the wider Caribbean.
Now, Barry, you have been within the police. You have been a member of the police service. That kind of statement, the fact is that intelligence coming to us at the association. Is this man, Inspector Seals, a commissioner of police, that he can go public, irrespective of the Police Regulation Act that states that you cannot go public on radio? And let me just read over that again. An officer shall not, without the permission of the commissioner, broadcast on the radio, television, internet, or by any other means, or publish in any manner any statement which is in the nature of a personal comment on any national or local political or administrative matters unless his official duties requires him to do so.
He had no right to make that statement, even though he was appealing to the membership of the Trinidad and Tobago Police as the union representative of the police service. The mere fact that he made it in public and I was addressing it from a public audio in terms of being on TV6, it sends a message to the wider fabric of the society that the police is concerned that the government is about to provoke the police into calling a state of emergency to delay the elections, suspend the constitution and delay the elections. Those are very serious allegations. Those allegations are fraught with intent to create civil unrest. Those allegations are very, very malicious, and it is very dangerous in stigmatizing the government, in putting the government into a position that here it is that the government and the police is at war, which is not so.
Well, you see me, I am not beating on the bush, you know. This man have to be dismissed from the police, but after they go through the disciplinary procedure.
Well, they have to go through the proper channels with him and so on. He must not be denied due process. But I think that the enthusiasm, I think that the better of Michael Seals, the enthusiasm got the better of Michael Seals on that particular morning.
He was emotional.
He was emotional, and he didn't thought properly what he was saying, and I don't think that he even understand the nature and the effect of what he have said on the tape, because he's telling the wider nation and even the Caribbean and even the outer world who may have been listening that here is a situation in Trinidad and Tobago that the government is heading towards the road of suspending the constitution and not to call the election and to rule by tyranny.
He was playing the role of a politician. He descended into the political arena.
But Gladiator, it was fraught with political intent.
And have you not observed that the political leader of our party, the PNM party, has not made no comment up to now? Not even Faris Alwari?
Well, you see,
haven't you not detected that?
But I this is why I'm here this afternoon, because I find that in recent times the political leader on matters that is of national interest is very silent, and I'm asking myself what is his role and functions in having these conversations in the public domain, because here it is, he needs to condemn that statement by the police service, because if
he should have condemned it the next day,
because the thing is that he could be potentially be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And then if you are saying that the police inspector is making that statement, then where is the loyalty and the allegiance to protect the country and to protect the head of states by the police officers?
Not only that, when Jack Warner made a statement about the marijuana, the alleged marijuana, the residence of the Prime Minister, the following day, Dr. Kid Rowley made issue a press release.
Yes.
He issued a press release up to this day, today's Friday. And up to this day, he has not issued any press release condemning that reckless statement.
It's a reckless statement.
Let me tell the listening on it, because we want you to join us as we discuss this issue with Michael Seals. And the numbers are 222-8255. Join us as we discuss Michael Seals, Inspector suspension from the... You know, Barry, I wanted to discuss so much of things today, but after listening to the asinine, and I use the word asinine, conduct of Richard Norrie, and those are...
You still listen to Richard Norrie?
He's my friend, he's my colleague.
You still listen to him?
Yes, I have to listen to him. It is my duty to listen to him.
Well, then you have the strongest brain in the world.
It is my duty to listen to him. But after listening to him, let me take the caller here. Good evening, caller.
Hi, Gladiator.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. If what this guy is saying has any little measure of truth in it, just a little measure of truth, he would have deterred a big action in the country. Well done to this guy.
Well done to this guy. You see,
This,
yeah. Good evening, caller.
Well, Gladiator.
Yes.
Why really measure this man like you have Lincoln Road, you know?
The man has played the role of thank you. The man is a politician and they are playing the role of politicians at the trade unions and at the police service. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Gladiator. I'm calling Commissioner Williams to take disciplinary measure against him after the investigation, because it seems as though some of these high-ranking police officers is delving into the political arena.
And that's what
police supposed to be an independent institution. And not only which I know, but this morning I was listening to when the statement that he was condoning the statement made, and he was trying to justify that the commissioner was wrong to do what he did.
Thank you. And the thing about it is so reckless, and you hearing, well, not all the PNM members at all supporting that, because, Rowley's statement, which is still haunting him, the obvious statement against Prime Minister.
And we will come to that in a while.
Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Gladiator and your colleague.
Yes, good evening.
Calling from Princestown.
Yes.
Gladiator, this, as you have been rightly saying over the last few days, this is a very, very serious matter.
It is.
In fact, it is a very dark moment in national security in our country.
Yes.
But I'm telling you something, in my opinion, this is not an isolated incident, We have to go back. We have to go back to, remember some months ago, the Prime Minister's home was abandoned by the policemen. And remember some time ago, the Parliament, they walked up with the members of Parliament were left unprotected. And the question arises now, are these just mere coincidences? Or is it not part of some plan by some minority circle within our national security system to undermine and destabilize our country and to create mayhem and civil unrest in this country? And it's part of somebody's agenda. And we must condemn it. And it is really shameful that the leader of the opposition and his advisors and so on have not publicly condemned this action of Michael Seals. It's a shameful and disgraceful moment. Thank you, Gladiator.
Thank you. He is waiting because they want to blackmail the government. They want to put the government under duress because they want 19% in the wage deal. Then they reduce that to 16.4%. And they're not being satisfied because they feel they could bully the government. And they tried having this shutdown of the country, gridlock, people cannot reach work on time at all. And the message that they sent to the government was a serious threat. Here it is, this inspector. He couldn't gather intelligence as to who are the perpetrators responsible for that island-wide, nationwide gridlock on March 20th. But yet, today, he went on national television and said that they receive intelligence. But at the end of the day, you are a police officer. And according to the regulations of the Police Service Act of 2007, let me read this part, what it states. If a police officer fails to report a matter which is his duty to report, he committed an offense.
He has committed an offense.
According to subsection 7, if a police officer fails to report anything which he knows concerning a criminal charge, or fails to disclose any evidence which he or any person within his knowledge can give for or against any prisoner or defendant to a criminal charge, he commits an offense. If a police officer willfully or negligently makes any false, misleading, or inaccurate statement, he commits an offense.
Well, I will tell you something here, Gladiator. When you look at that, the substance of that statement, and you hear Michael Seals talking about intelligence received. one would have thought that the rightful persons to make that comment would have been the head of the special branch or the head or the police.
But not to the public.
And not to the public. That would have gone to the president.
You don't go to the public when I'm making a statement?
You don't go to the public. You would have called
You first inform the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
The commissioner then informed the National Security Council and inform them, look, we're hearing this and we're hearing that, what have you. Because this thing leads to serious criminal offenses.
Serious, yes, definitely so.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Gladiator.
Good evening to you.
But I was trying to get on to Richard Norrie today when I was listening to Richard. And I hope you're listening right now. I didn't get through. But Richard Norrie is an intelligent guy. He's not foolish. And I don't understand how we could take position like these. And you listen to the talk. There are things that warrant, there are things that somebody will do and warrant immediate dismissal. And Gladiator, Richard knows this. Richard is not a stupid guy. But you see the fellow who called just out there and say, if it was the inkling of a truth, kudos to the fellow. Now, these are the people that Richard really trying to encourage in foolishness. So you see, he called one time, and that is what Richard was actually putting in the minds of the fools.
And caller?
Yes.
Caller, you know what will happen? Let us say election night, the results does not go the PNM way. This piece of statement that Mr. Seals put in the public domain has the potential to create mayhem come the night of September the 7th. And disorder, you know. And disorder. This is a very seditious statement.
Of course, and we must draw the line with what is right.
But you have to draw the line.
And what is wrong. But we can't let our politics make us be so foolish.
Precisely.
I hope my boy Richard, because that's my boy, I hope he listens. He's an intelligent guy, Richard.
Oh, you're good to listen to Richard, yes?
You're letting your politics bring down your level at that where I had you, you know. Because then you have people, foolish people who don't understand, and looking up to you. And you're sending them in this wrong direction.
And caller.
Draw the line with the politics, come on.
And caller.
Wrong is wrong and right is right.
Thank you, caller. And the whole issue is why it is the opposition leader is not making a comment. Why he has not made a comment. So it shows clearly why or the intention of Michael Seals making that statement. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Gladiator, and to your guest, Barry.
Good evening.
The whole incident is that was a dry run. You see that March 23rd situation? That was just a dry run. There is a conspiracy going on, in my opinion. There is a conspiracy
based on what? Based on what?
That they are
based on what? Hey, don't waste my time. Based on what?
Based on the fact that
look, get out of here. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Don't waste my time at all. Based on what?
Yes.
I'm going to say.
Good evening.
Look.
And your guest onto the ride up
yes.
Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, there are certain things called lines of authority.
Of course.
Once you're a part of an organization and you fall within the ranks and files of that organization, you have to follow the protocol. You report it to your superiors.
And that's the only thing about it.
I have information.
Yes.
And this is the information here.
Chain of command.
Right? Chain of command, you call that.
Chain of
if
command.
You go on the outside, you're looking for public sympathy.
That's the only thing about it.
Protocol. You understand?
He is breaking the law. That's what he's doing. He's an alarmist.
Yes.
The man is an alarmist, and what he wanted to do was to place this country into panic zone.
And that's exactly what's the intent of the statement. It's an extremely seditious statement.
I mean, they say, who are they? What happened? They're taking everybody for a bunch of fools.
Precisely.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Gladiator. That statement was very irresponsible.
Irresponsible?
The question you have to ask, Mr. Seed, what would it take to provoke you? The message reminds me of what Abu Bakr said in 1990. Do not loot.
Yes. I mean, it's a let's hear, thank you, caller. Let's hear that statement one more. Let me hear it again. Let the nation hear the statement. Let the nation hear the statement.
The fact is that the intelligence coming to us at the association that there is a concerted effort to bring a situation about that we provoke the membership of the police service, so that membership would react outly. So let me say publicly, and I would appeal to the membership, please do not be duped into doing anything foolish, because the reason why we are saying that, we are hearing that there is a position that provoke the police so that we can call a state of emergency to delay the election. That is the intelligence.
That's a serious thing to be saying.
The association is saying so based on the information and the intelligence coming from its membership.
Why would he now tell the police and then don't be duped and don't do anything foolish?
Well, it have criminals. It have criminals.
So you are saying that you have been condoning foolishness in the police service?
And you know.
And you know about it?
And you know it have police officers who are criminals who want to overthrow the government.
So that is exactly what he's saying.
And you saying don't be duped into doing anything foolish.
Don't do anything foolish. Hold your hand. Hold your hand until we give you a directive.
Yeah. Hold your hand.
Hold your hand until we give you a directive.
Hey, hold on, and I know all want all money, all want 14%, no 16%, all want 90%.
Hold all your hands. Hold all your hands. Yeah,
control all yourself.
Control all yourself.
Because I know all could do something. I know all could shut down the country. I know all could overthrow the government. Understand? And what makes it so dangerous, Barry, it is the language, the choice of words. Because this man is a very intelligent man.
He's not stupid.
When a man can use words in such manner, concerted effort. What up, you Michael Seals? What up? You think Gladiator is a fool or what? When you use the word concerted effort, you are saying that the Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, is part of a conspiracy engaging in a concerted effort to frustrate the police officers to break the law? What up? There's a plan? Are you telling us that there's a plan to engage in illegal action?
But the Prime Minister will be stupid because it is the very set police officers who protect the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So that is that will be foolish of the government.
This man have to be dismissed, but let him go through the normal due process of the law. Let him go through the normal due process of the law. Because we don't want no kind of breach of natural justice. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is that statement tantamount to treason?
Well, I won't say that right. I won't say that right now at all. But that statement is a very
serious.
It's
borderline.
Yes,
it's borderline. It's borderline.
Because what you do, you alarm the nation, you alarm the population, because the population is in a very tense moment.
Because we're in election season, Gladiator, and there is an opposition who wants to get in government. And what about if their supporters decide not to react in a manner that could cause mayhem in the society?
And it has a fierce fight between the partnership and the PNM party, not the
forget that.
You understand?
The lazy looking party.
Yeah. Good evening, caller. Good evening. But I want to expose something, I want to expose something. Good evening.
Analysis very good, because everything is heading. This is treason, man.
Yeah.
It's high treason. I need to juxtaposition that the statement Rowley making, the statement Jack was making,
Because caller,
link up everything.
Because caller,
is an attempt.
Caller, thank you, caller.
It's an attempt to stir up the public.
Because thank you, caller. Because I want the citizens and them to understand this chronological effect taking place. Here it is. This week, Jack Warner went to the nation and released tapes where a guy making statements.
Alleged.
The next day, this reckless leader, this man who wants to be the next prime minister, this reckless Rowley, who will never be prime minister of this country, he was quick to issue a press release and call on the police to investigate Jack Warner's statement the next day. But there's a deafening silence on a statement that put the public in panic zone. Because this man went to a television that has a very large viewership. So you know what's going on there, prime time. And he made that statement knowing, it's not that he did not know, it's not that he's innocent of what he was saying. He knew. He knew that what he was about to say and what he said will have rippling effects down the road. And I want to say, the acting commissioner of police, Stephen Williams, saved this country from an insurrection within the police service who wants to overthrow the government.
I would say that the reason
I am going to that extent to overthrow the government.
I would say that, Gladiator, the reason why Dr. Rowley and the PNM has not made any statement about this particular conversation that Michael Seals put in the public domain is because he believes and they feel that they stand to benefit from it politically at the polls.
Not only, but make it much more worse. Just so caller, to make it much more worse. To make it much more worse. Here it is. We are to remember 1990. We are to remember 1990. And in 1990, the entire nation was in panic zone. You come around election time where there's fierce fighting among political parties and you make that kind of statement? No. I don't only think you should be dismissed from the service, but you should be charged, criminally charged. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, Gladiator.
Good evening to you.
14.
Yes, point 14.
No, Gladiator, you know, after your program yesterday, I was in some recollection to myself something with this issue with Michael Seals, right? And Gladiator, that word provoke, you know, provocation is against the law. And when you are provoking someone may react in a manner that is unbecoming or unexpected and what they will do. Now, in this word provocation, right, if the police decide to do something, Mr. Seals and whoever it is alongside with him, and to disrupt this country, who will they be facing in this country to quell that situation? Enter another arm of the state, Gladiator?
Yes.
What kind of thing is that? That is tandem mayhem and disorder.
And caller,
and I don't want the police commissioner to take this lightly.
But the thing about it,
we now come out of a situation of the total day of policing, where a lot of citizens in this country has lost confidence in the police service. Now, not too long after you come out and say provoke and state an emergency if the police is provoke and all these kind of things. Gladiator, that is worse than irresponsible.
Because
that is a charge, and he should face charges, be dismissed, and taken to court and be sentenced in some way or the other, because we cannot have that level of irresponsibility against the protective arm of the state who bear arms and ammunition and have this country in a disorder, right? And how will we look at them now, Gladiator? Could we expect any and anything from the police service now because of one man? And Gladiator, lastly, he is the secretary. Ramasa is the president. Would Ramasa have known about this press release that Mr. Seals was going and released to the media or to the general public? Because if he does, he is culpable of the same crime too, and the police should look at it and investigate it. And if he is aware that Michael Seals was going and allow that to happen and he did not stop him as the president, well, then he is culpable just
I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you. Because people, we need to dissect and apply deductive reasoning. Understand? All those scholars here. We need to apply deductive reasoning. Because here it is. He used the word intelligence once in his comment. He used the word intelligence once in his comment. Then he mentioned concerted, the word concerted once in his comment. He mentioned the word effort once in his comment. But what is so strange? He used the word provoke twice. Twice. Why use the word provoke twice in your comments? Michael Seals. This is why I tell people, I don't take, Barry, this is why I just tell people, when you say I doing research, I just study the intent, the purpose, the objective, what you want to achieve. Why must you mention the word provoke? When you use the word provoke, you're speaking about inciting.
That is why I say that it's inciting civil unrest, Gladiator.
And
because
that is
when I look at
deliberate.
this and then when I look at this, when I listen to this statement, I look at it and I review it. I say, well, listen, because I was taking a position as he's been the secretary of the Police Second Division Association or the Police Association, that he have the right to address his members. But then when he addresses members in the forum that he addresses members on the morning edition of TV6, he wasn't speaking to his members alone. He was speaking to the wider fabric of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is and in this present time where you have a very, very tense situation because of the politics of the day that is being played and the heavy competitive political nature that is taking place right now. That is an irresponsible and a very reckless statement to make.
Now, let me expose, I just drop things now and then. I just drop bombs, and today I have to drop some bombs today. Because there is a conspiracy between the People's National Movement and the ILP leader. That right now, Barry Garcia, the PNM party is split down the middle. There are those who are totally fed up of the leadership of Dr. Keith Rowley.
I am one.
I am also one too.
I am one. And I make no bones about it.
But
I am
here
one.
it is. Those who are fed up are being pressured to listen to Jack Warner. Here it is. I'm going to play a clip where a person is totally annoyed. Totally annoyed. Listen.
Good morning. Good morning to the panel there.
Good morning, madam.
Sharon, this morning, I know you're not on the hard politics yet, but I have to get out the house and I won't be able to call back later. But my thing is, this is my problem here now. The Jack Warner issue take over the whole media. We're not even hearing PNM, what they're doing, what they intend to do. And everybody's on Jack. Like, I personally, this is my personal view. I fed up a Jack. If he keep it for how much years, he could keep it all the time. Because what Jack is saying is not people thinking it's helping the PNM, but I think it's doing bad for the PNM, and it's only putting Kamala in the light and Jack Warner up front. And that pushed the PNM way back now, because we're not hearing Dr. Rowley, we're not seeing we're not hearing from the MPs that's going up, we're not hearing no policies, we're not hearing nothing, and it's how much weeks into election already. So I think
Paula, let me ask you a question.
Should step up, come up to the front and make themselves known and make themselves heard, and stop listening to Jack Warner, because somehow I just fed up of him.
No, you hear that? Pause there before we play the next one. Trying to bully the woman. Now that lady's a PNM. You hear the comments?
Not only that, you
the
hear
lady is saying
in the pain in her voice.
You hear the pain, and the woman is saying she's fed up of Jack Warner. And that is the growing consensus around the country.
But she went on to say, if he keep it for so much years, he could keep it and keep it.
But the salient part of it, she's saying that she's not hearing Dr. Rowley.
And she's not hearing nothing about the PNM policies.
Now, let us play the part, the response, these wicked, evil activists of the PNM saying to membership of the party. Let's hear it.
If you are not hearing Dr. Rowley himself, Mr. Warner is doing, how we should say it, all his meetings and the broadcasting them, he have a lot to say. So I don't know how you could say, well, I want to hear what he had to say. I want to hear it fast. I want to hear. I'm so sorry for that, but I need to hear what he have to say, because there are things that I've learned between about 3 or 4 weeks now that we would have never known. And yes, while we say, oh, we have that long time, I still want to hear. I want to hear.
This is naked evidence of the conspiracy between Jack Warner and Dr. Keith Rowley, in that Jack Warner, he is campaigning for the PNM party. And that is why a lot of PNM people are growing disenchanted, Barry. A lot of PNM people are growing you see, people don't understand what is taking place within the PNM party. And that is why I keep saying, Barry Garcia, Dr. Keith Rowley is one of the most reckless political leaders ever in the history of this country, and also in the history of the PNM party.
And the most lazy too.
You heard the comments of the woman, and the woman are the backbone of the PNM party.
So when you get this woman, when you go out now and the reply to this woman's concern, and the reply to this woman's concern, and this is a general concern among PNM supporters,
Yes.
This is not just this woman. She might be the brave one to come out and make her feelings known publicly.
Yes.
But there's a general concern, because here it is. I chopped at Nilan Marcy in Marabella, and after the Obia comment, Gladiator, I have been bombarded with phone calls. They meet him in the road and ask him what stupidness is going on. People, I reach a stage where I just can't answer. I can't defend the gentleman no more. I have tried my best to defend PNM at some times, and sometimes to give Dr. Rowley a little shine on the ball. But oh God, it can't work again. This man has this. I don't know how to
Plain
describe
and
him.
simple, Barry Gar said the PNM party is not ready for governance. Plain and simple. Let's not beat around the bush. Under the leadership of Dr. Rowley, the PNM party is not ready for governance.
So are you saying
play
that?
that clip. Play that clip.
Are you saying that we're going to be in opposition for another 5 years?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the panel there.
Good morning, madam.
Sharon, this morning, I know you're not on the hard politics yet, but I have to get out the house and I won't be able to call back later. But my thing is, this is my problem here now. The Jack Warner issue take over the whole media. We're not even hearing PNM, what they're doing, what they intend to do, and everybody's on Jack. This is my personal view. I fed up a Jack. If he keep it for how much years, he could keep it all the time. Because what Jack is saying is not people thinking it's helping the PNM, but I think it's doing bad for the PNM, and it's only putting Kamala in the light and Jack Warner up front. And that pushed the PNM way back now, because we're not hearing Dr. Rowley, we're not seeing we're not hearing from the MPs that going up, we're not hearing no policies, we're not hearing nothing. And it's how much weeks into election already.
So Caller, let me ask you a question.
Step up, come up to the front and make themselves known and make themselves heard, and stop listening to Jack Warner, because somehow I just fed up of him.
Barry, let's take some calls. Barry, before you take some calls, I'm going to say what you have to say about it. And this is.
But I share that woman's sentiments. I am one of the persons who have.
And the ladies are PNM.
But I fed up at that too, Gladiator.
And they vexed with she making that statement, you know.
Gladiator, when
they want to cuss up the woman, you know.
But I used to tell you that there's a set of ABCDarians.
Yes.
And neophytes running the program. Good
evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Gladiator.
Yes.
I mean, you might vex with me because it's a PNM. But I listen to that lady. You know, it surprised me. I never knew that smart PNM one too.
Nah, man, you're too wicked, man.
No, I'm saying that, Gladiator.
Yes.
That woman, for the longest while, I've heard of PNM.
The woman, and caller, the woman said the PNM has no policy. A PNM woman is saying the PNM has no policy.
But Gladiator, that is what is outside there, and those radio, like the radio host was different, the woman they were saying, pushes there. She don't understand what's going on.
Madam Fallacious?
The people fed up Jack, you know.
They fed up.
I know what Dr. Rowley doing. He's hiding in the back. According to the lady, no policies, no nothing. And then when you do come out to say something, it's something nasty about a Obia thing.
Yes.
Some kind of nastiness.
Yes.
So he now, and Jack Warner, just on nastiness. And you know, last night I watched the Prime Minister. This thing is disturbing the woman at all. She opened my school.
Because the lady is on policy. But thank you, caller. We have a lot of callers on the line. And the time running out here. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Callers, make it short and sweet. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. Even all right if she thinks that way. But what I wonder in here, what PNM always, I listen to always.
Next caller. Well, they ain't go come and change this program.
I don't know how come they didn't want to know what PNM Rowley was in 2008 when he was cussing Mr. Manning.
Yeah.
How nobody didn't want to find out that.
Yeah.
Man, all you go on here with that nonsense. And next caller, please.
Yeah. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Gladiator?
Yes.
Why do you still call into the election?
But that passed already. Next caller.
Next
this
caller.
one no come in the country this morning.
You see the same thing the woman was saying?
Yeah.
No policies.
Good evening, Gladiator.
Yes, good evening, Kingsley.
Gladiator, I am saying that Dr. Peter Oli mustn't make no statement about that issue.
Thank you. Next caller.
Next caller.
You hear that? And he's an LP activist, you know. He said, Oli must not make no statement. So you see clearly what's going on. This is an ILP activist campaigning for the PNM. So you see what's going on there? A waste of vote. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening to the Gladiator. I listen to you all very attentively, and I want to know how much $1 million will they get?
Next caller. How much million Rowley get was to sell out Manning?
Yeah, we ain't want to hear Awuka this evening at all. Next.
Gladiator, so what about if we bring back Mr. Manning and get Rowley out? What about that?
Mr. Manning don't want no part of that.
Yeah, thank you. Next. Let me clear the lines. Watch out, people. The lines busy like that. Good evening.
Yes. You went to the cool and you take the fridge.
Next caller. I don't know. Some cool. You see this? Illiteracy.
Cool my foot.
Yeah, illiteracy. You have to sympathize with them. Good evening, caller.
Is Sealy blood related to Arsenal Murray?
I didn't see next caller. I didn't hear what the lady said to him.
They're missing the script.
Missing the script.
Good evening, Gladiator. That story that she's saying, it happens to be the same thing that Rowley is saying concerning calling in Caribbean observers, CARICOM observers.
Mm-hmm.
Because, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, because they all are pointing and giving the impression that they don't want to have election. You know, sitting call elections now, and PNM was saying she don't want to call election, want to have a state emergency. That statement from C came straight from PNM.
And I'm not going to doubt that. I'm not going to doubt because that is
the PNM people were saying
it is
when she wasn't calling election, they said they're having a state emergency to put election. That statement was made by PNM people long before Steve made it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
You see, they are preparing, the PNM, my party is preparing for defeat. And in the event they get defeated, understand? Remember we already made a statement.
You will cry foul.
No, he said he's going to bring down the whole of Lavantil.
Gladiator.
Yeah.
Good evening. Remember when we was on 91.9 hours for Jack Warner, when we was with Nigerian? Why are you saying that Austin Jack Warner is working for the PNM now? Why are you going on that road?
Thank you. Every morning, everybody is here. You're saying good morning to Dr. Rowley. So the next caller,
yes,
we don't want to waste time, man.
Ramasa and the whole cabal, they have to go. You know
next
why
caller, next caller. I mean, every morning.
You know, I feel, right, Inspector, feels safe to that. And he was talking the truth.
Next caller, you see again?
But
Next caller.
He was really talking the truth. He was talking the truth about what they intend to do if the PNM don't win the election.
That's the whole thing about it.
That is the truth they was talking
So
about.
what he was actually saying is that, there are so many interpretations that one cannot catch it. Good evening, caller.
Gladiator, good afternoon.
Yes.
Why you don't go back east?
Next caller. I don't want to hear you, man. Or you see, they might tell people, you just be able to detect these people in advance when they don't have any level of intelligence.
But nothing of substance.
Nothing of substance.
Pertaining to the conversation that we have. Next caller.
Yeah. Maybe they might have to go by the former judge, Sebastian Venter, to get substance. Good evening, caller.
You're jealous, Rowley.
Next, you see again, you see the mentality?
Me want to Indian in power, boy. No more Indian.
You hear that?
Starting to come out.
Good afternoon, people.
Good evening,
caller. Inspector still follow the plan.
Yeah, next caller. Next caller. Know this guy's a voice.
Good afternoon, Gladiator.
Good evening to you.
Oh, God is hosting them PNM running, boy. Jesus, God, your bones hot in, boy. Kill them.
Thank you.
What you're saying is true. And only lies, Jack Warner, Rowley, all of them are all of them kind. It's only lies.
And let me end this program. No more calls. Let me end this program with this same caller here. Let me end this program with yes. You see, jump high, jump low. The PNM is not dealing with issues. And that's why the lady, she was appealing. She was within disgust. Nothing have been discussed. Nothing has been raised. And I sympathize with many PNM people. That's why they are not going to cast their vote for election. Let's hear, in closing, what the Prime Minister is saying. Let's hear.
We may not have done everything we promised, but we have fulfilled 90% of our manifesto promises of delivery. In 2010 and 2011, we worked hard to revitalize our country after the economic decline under the previous government. We then succeeded in achieving growth in 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. Even with the fall in the price of oil, we ensured we kept our economy on track by ensuring a continuing flow of investment from global companies like Shell, BP, and Mitsubishi. Not only investment in our country, but more jobs too. We have created more than 57,000 new jobs in Trinidad and Tobago. In our second term, we'll continue to create more jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
That is the leadership she provides. That is why she can't tell none of them nothing. And all of them is alligator from the same murky lagoon.
Our unemployment rate is down to the lowest at 3%. This means that about 94% of our population labor force is gainfully employed.
Morning, Mr. Warner. It is the $10 million question at the centre of FIFA's global bribery scandal. The $10 million, where did it go? Cash promised by South Africa. And sent to this man, former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner. Can you tell us where the $10 million went, Jack? Mr. Warner, where did the $10 million go to? Can you tell us one project, Mr. Warner? Can you tell us about one project that you spent the money on? Jack Warner doesn't want to talk about the missing millions.
We have delivered goods and services. We have implemented policies which have drastically improved the lives and lifestyles of all our citizens. And that is why we have done infrastructure, healthcare development, schools, roads, bridges, drains. And when we say we're giving laptops to children, did we pick out UNC? Top partnership we gave across the board to all the children. When you leave here, you will see the Cuba, the Children's Hospital, off the ground, ready to open, ready to commission, ready to go.
I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall very close to Liquor 2. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it.
I will stand and fight with everyone and anyone. I have no fear of them. None whatsoever. The only thing I fear is my God. The only thing I fear is my God and yours. But as long as we put God in front and walk behind, we have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear.
A paid program.
One day, two hot peppers fresh from the market decided to escape from their market